y'all, and welcome back to our Bible study with a Jewish lens. I'm Beth Shulam, and thanks for watching. Today, I'm going to jump back into the Hebrew Bible and look at a passage in Judges chapter 9. It's the story of a man named Yotam, who was a son of Gideon, who speaks out against the wickedness of his half-brother, Abimelech. And we'll see through his parable the consequences of choosing a leader who seeks power through violence and deceit, and the wisdom that's imparted through this parable. But there's much more here than just a story, a parable about ancient Israelite politics. This passage has lessons that we can glean from it today. So, let's start in Judges chapter 9. We'll start at verse 7 and go through about 21. Well, let's go a little higher. Verse 5. This is talking about Abimelech. Then he went to his father's house in Ophrah and killed his brothers, the sons of Jerubbaal, and that's Gideon, 70 men on one stone. Only Yotam, the youngest son of Jerubbaal, survived because he went into hiding. All the citizens of Shechem and all Beth Millo convened, and they proclaimed Abimelech king at the terebinth of the pillar at Shechem. When Yotam was informed, he went and stood on top of Mount Gerizim and called out to them in a loud voice, "Citizens of Shechem," he cried, "listen to me, that God may listen to you. These cities are on mountaintops that surround what they call the Armageddon. And you can see, from each city, you can see all these mountaintops. So when he goes up to the top of the Mount of Gerizim, he's able to look out on all these cities and see that valley. And there's many villages around. They can all hear him. He says, "Citizens of Shechem, listen to me, that God may listen to you." Once the trees went to anoint a king over themselves, they said to the olive tree, "Reign over us." But the olive tree replied, "Have I, through whom God and men are honored, stopped yielding my rich oil that I should go and wave above the trees?" So the tree said to the fig tree, "You come and reign over us." But the fig tree replied, "Have I stopped yielding my sweetness, my delicious fruit, that I should go and wave above the trees?" So the tree said to the vine, "You come and reign over us." But the vine replied, "Have I stopped yielding my new wine, which gladdens God and man, that I should go and wave above the trees?" Then all the trees said to the thornbush, "You come and reign over us." And the thornbush said to the trees, "If you're acting honorably and anointing me king over you, come and take shelter in my shade. But if not, may fire issue from the thornbush and consume the cedars of Lebanon. Now then, if you acted honorably and loyally in making Abimelech king, if you have done right by Jerubbaal and his house, and have requited him according to his deserts, considering that my father fought for you and saved you from the Midianites at the risk of his life, and now you have turned on my father's household, killed his son, 70 men on one stone, and set up Abimelech, the son of his handmaid, as king over the citizens of Shechem, just because he's your kinsman. If I say, you have this day acted honorably and loyally towards Jerubbaal and his house, have joy in Abimelech, and may he likewise have joy in you. But if not, may fire issue from Abimelech and consume the citizens of Shechem and Beth Millo, and may fire issue from the citizens of Shechem and Beth Millo and consume Abimelech." With that, Yotam fled. He ran to Beer and stayed there, because of his brother Abimelech. The names Yotam and Abimelech both have significant meanings in Hebrew. Yotam is derived from the Hebrew words Yah, referring to God, and Tam, meaning perfect or upright. Thus, Yotam can be interpreted as Yahweh is perfect or the Lord is upright. And again, Yotam was the son of Gideon, the judge of Israel. Abimelech is composed of two parts, Ab, meaning father, like the word Abba, and Melech, meaning king. So Abimelech can be interpreted as my father's the king or the father of the king. And Abimelech is Yotam's half-brother, who is the son of Gideon and a handmaid. Both names reflect the significance of God's role in leadership, though they were lived out in very different circumstances. Yotam's name will highlight God's righteousness, while Abimelech ties to the idea of authority and kingship. But they'll contrast with the ideals of God. So let's first set this stage. Abimelech is the son of Gideon, and he's just made himself king over the cities of Shechem after murdering his 70 brothers. He's a man who used violence, manipulation, and greed to get his power. But Yotam managed to escape Abimelech. And then he delivers this bold parable on the top of the Mount Gerizim. And he's aiming this parable not really at Abimelech, but the people and the leaders of Shechem who decided to crown Abimelech as king despite his corruption and violence and his rise to power. This parable is fascinating. The trees want a king. So they go first to the olive tree, and then a fig tree, and then to a vine. Each one has a good reason to refuse. They're already productive, and they already have important roles. The olive tree gives oil to honor God. The fig tree bears fruit. The vine produces wine. In essence, these trees symbolize good leadership, noble, productive people, roles that serve others. None of them want to leave their purpose to rule over other people, because true leadership is about serving, not exploiting. But here's the twist. When the bramble or the thorny bush is asked to rule, it says, sure. But the bramble's answer is filled with lots of arrogance, pride, and a threat. If you are in good faith, take refuge in my shade. But if not, let fire come out and devour the cedars of Lebanon. Now, why does Yotam use a bramble bush? This bramble isn't even a proper tree. It's a thorn bush, a plant that's known for being dangerous and quite useless. By choosing the bramble as the tree that accepts the leadership, Yotam is warning the leaders of Shechem, Abimelech as well, that they've chosen a weak and a very dangerous leader. The bramble is full of threats and is not capable of offering protection or safety. It's a symbol of false leadership. Abimelech is the bramble. He's not offering shelter. Instead, he's full of pride and ready to destroy anybody who challenges him. Yotam's parable doesn't just critique his brother Abimelech. It's a warning about the consequences of choosing bad leaders. The bramble's response to the tree is, let fire come out of the bramble and devour the cedars of Lebanon. This is a clear threat of destruction. When corrupt leadership is chosen, it's not just the leader who suffers, it's the entire nation, the whole community. The peace, stability, and fruitfulness that comes from wise leaders are replaced with chaos and destruction. By choosing Abimelech, the people of Shechem are inviting destruction into their lives. And sure enough, as we read later on in Judges, Abimelech's reign ends in violence, betrayal, and death. This parable is more than a historical account of people in the Bible. It's a timeless lesson for us. In our own lives, we face the same questions. Are we choosing leaders based on character and integrity? Or are we swayed by power, image, and promises of protection that sound too good to be true? Are we willing to recognize when a leader has become a bramble, offering threats and destruction rather than shelter and care? In our personal lives, whether in our families, our communities, our churches, our synagogues, we must be careful about the leaders that we follow. Bad leadership doesn't just harm those in charge, it harms everyone. Yotam's words and actions call us to courage and responsibility. He doesn't just stand by when Abimelech rises to power. He speaks out, and though his warning isn't heeded, it stands as a testimony. We, likewise, have a responsibility to speak truth when we see injustice and corruption, even when it's uncomfortable. Whether it's in our home, where we work, or even in politics, we're called to seek wisdom and honor God in how we lead and follow other people. So what's the takeaway from this passage? True leadership is about serving others, not manipulation or threats. Choosing the wrong leader can lead to destruction, not just for the leader, but for the whole community. And we must be willing to speak up when we see corrupt leadership and stand for truth, justice, and peace. Here's a challenge for you this week. And I'm not meaning this to make any political statement, one way or the other. But take a moment to evaluate the leaders you follow. Are they brambles or are they trees? Are they leading with integrity and humility, or are they simply seeking power? Are they serving or are they taking? And what about your own leadership? How can you serve others in a way that honors God? We all have the ability, in small ways, to be leaders in the community by example. Thank you for listening to me so far. I appreciate it. If this message resonated with you, please give me a thumbs up, and share this with others who might be as like-minded. And subscribe so we can keep this conversation going. Let me know in the comments how we can honor God in our leadership roles today. Until next time, stay wise, stay humble, and keep following down the right path. Let's stay trees and not get into the brambles. Shalom, y'all, and thanks. See you next time. Bye.
Kumi Ori. כי בא אורך, וכבוד אדוני עלייך זרח. קומי אורי, כי בא אורך, וכבוד אדוני עלייך זרח.